So this video is obviously about my makeup today. Today's makeup is kind of inspired by the Phantom of the Opera's mask, like how it covers half of his side of one of his faces, so like 1/4 of his face. And I really wanted to do some galaxy makeup. I also put in my Scleras again, and just one of them. And then I added a lot of little glitter pieces so you can see it. There's a lot of glitter all over this outfit, and I highly recommend not using loose glitter. I used some from Decay, so check out this video. Starting off with clean hands and face, we're going to put in contact lenses. I'm using these blue Scleras that I've shown you in the past. Now time to put primer all over our face. We still want the glam side of our face, and our other side is going to be the mask. Make sure you have clean hands when you apply these. Now I'm going to be using my favorite foundation, which is Kat Von D's Lock It Foundation, and I'm using a makeup sponge to apply it. Now we're going to be using this high coverage concealer from Sephora, and we're going to go all the way over our eyelid and go make into the shape of the mask that we want. Make sure to get enough coverage because you're going to be putting a lot of color on top of this, and you want a really good primer base. Even though we already primed our skin, this is going to make sure that our eyeshadows don't fall off when we put on the galaxy makeup. And just to make sure everything's even, I went back with a makeup sponge to make sure that it's nice. And now I'm going to be using this powder to set it. Now I'm using Urban Decay's Urban Spectrum palette using the color Prank, and I'm going all over my eyelid for this part. This is where you get to have fun. Now I'm going to use the color Flashback and start painting in the mask. I want to go with this purple color first as the base of my entire galaxy theme. I like the more purple and blues and the pinks versus having a really dark black. Also, make sure not to cover the entirety of your face in this purple because you still want to add the other colors. You want to mix them, but not cover and layer on top. So just start filling in different areas and different pieces. I do want to emphasize that I did use a wet brush. I used a nice little bit of water to wet it versus some product. So here we are, and I didn't lick it, just in case. So go ahead and start filling it in and going everywhere on your face. Now I'm going to be using the color Backlash and using it sparingly, covering up a little bit, blending it slightly, and just giving it a little bit of color. So some people like having just pink and purples for the galaxy look. I'm going to be using a little bit of blue. This blue is called Madness. And slowly work that into your little piece. So now most of my area should be covered and you just look like a hot mess. We're going to go in with the makeup sponge and slowly blend it together so it gets nice and evenly mixed. It's okay if it comes out a little bit light. We're still going to be covering it with a little bit of other things. If you want, you can go back in with one of your makeup brushes and touch it up. Now I'm going to kind of like make an actual line for the mask. I'm going to be using the darkest purple that I have, and this is Voodoo from the same palette, and I'm going to outline it. Take your time, you don't want to mess it up. This is what it looks like when it's done. Now we're going to go back in and color a little bit more using the color Deep End. Deep End is going to be applied on the eyelid because we want it to still look like a mask. We want to give it a little bit of different dimension. Now I'm going in with this blue highlighter called Orion from Anastasia, and I'm going to slightly dab it all around my face. Knowing that a galaxy is made of different colors, I'm going in with Spectra as well. I want to go ahead and just mention, as long as you have different highlighters, go ahead and start covering it so you get a nice sheen. I'm going to be taking this yellow dusty highlighter called Helia, and I'm going to be using a smaller brush. This one I'm going to concentrate a little bit harder and dust it around instead of all over coverage. This is because I want it to be more of spectral clouds. Now to make it stand out, kind of like a mask, I'm using this black eyeshadow from Kat Von D's Mi Viva Loca palette, and I'm doing slightly underneath the entire galaxy part. This is supposed to help bring it out, but you know, this is the shadow part, so not too heavy. I'm also going to be doing a small line down the center. Now I'm going to use a white eyeshadow and a very thin brush to go on top of where the black eyeshadow just went. This is going to give it a little pop and a little bit more dimension rather than just staying flat. Yes, I did also wet this brush. Do this to the bottom and to the other sides of the mask that you're making. Now that the mask is done for a little bit, let's focus on the other side of our makeup. I'm using the almond color from the Urban Decay palette, and I'm putting that all over my lid and a little bit underneath my lash line. Now we're going to go in with the color Voodoo, and we're going to create a little bit of dimension underneath my lash line, and then we're going to make a cut crease. Now I'm going to add the color Flashback in the middle top part of my eye to the crease. This I'm just going to give it a little bit more dimension underneath my eyebrow and just fully blend it and color it out. Make sure not to go too forward past your eyebrow because it'll look really funny. Now we're going to use the color Flatline, and we're just going to put it in the little crease of our eye, the really far little corner, just for a little pop. Now we're also using it as highlight underneath your eyebrow. I'm going back in with Voodoo just to make sure that my eye's a little bit even and perfectly covering the bottom eyeshadow area. Now we're going to go in and highlight just a little bit with Luna. Now time for lipstick. I'm going to be using this liquid lipstick from Kat Von D in the color Roxy. It's a nice dark purple and I use it on daily basis too. Now I'm going in with Urban Decay's Heavy Metal Glitter, and I'm using Distortion. This one is actually a smaller little brush, and I like this for accuracy, and it's kind of like an eyeliner, but you can use it however you want. So I'm going to be using this as the basic eyeliner first and applying it. And applying it all over my eyes, and just for fun, make sure it's thick. I'm going to kick up the glitter by using this visual effects glitter from Urban Decay and putting it all over my eyelid. While the glitter is setting, I'm using this old white eyeliner to make the dots for stars. I had to shake it a little bit for it to start coming out, and now I'm just going to make tiny little freckles of white dots all over the galaxy part of my face. I'm also going to go back and redo that little white highlight. It seems to have disappeared, so I'm just going to go back in and add it again. Now, since the other side's a mask, I'm only going to do one side with my eyeliner, and I'm going to wing it out just ever so slightly. Now I'm going to be using some eyelash glue and some star glitter. I'm going to slowly put the eyelash glue close to the freckles that I made, and then I'm just going to lightly tap the glitter on top. Lastly, I thought my lips looked a little boring, so I added the Vice visual effects from Urban Decay onto my lips. Now from this random palette, I'm going to be using a light brown because I don't have contour powder, and I'm going to contour the sides of my face just a bit. So the eyelashes I forgot to record. It was really simple. Basically, just take some eyelash glue and put some little stuff on it. This time it was little stars. So this is what my eyelashes look like. They are the same pair from Daiso Japan. And you can see, like, this one's normal, this one's not. So I wanted a huge contrast in my look. Obviously, I wanted everything else that is not painted or like colored to be just kind of like eccentric as well. So this will be overpowering, but if it was just a makeup look like this, it still looks really powerful. So this part I just really wanted to do because I have this broken star brooch, and I thought of like American Horror Story where they always have something in their mouth or something, or they're screaming, and I thought it would be really neat if I was like, you know, kind of like a black hole galaxy like coming out.